He said 850, and there was definitely a chuckle coming out of my mouth.
I don't think you were chuckling.
Oh, wow.
I think it was courtesy laugh.
Okay, let's get started.
Why don't you admit that?
I'm not
It's
admitting.
okay. I'm not very funny, typically.
Well, you can be. I mean, you're funny looking.
That was
There's
funny.
some of that.
Okay, the music started. All right, honestly. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pull Focus, the cinema-based entertainment podcast
I've
where
never liked this music.
three freelancers come together to talk shop. My name is Mike, and as you can already tell, I am joined by my partners in crime. To my right, videographer and cinematography specialist, Mr. Umberto Estrada. Hold on.
Oh, that's that.
Yeah. How you doing, Bert?
It kind of wrecked my thing, though. I wish I was more like you. Easily amused.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I had more to it, but the clap got me like...
Yeah, I'm keeping you off balance, dude.
I know.
Improvise.
I'm a little, like, shaking.
And to my left, educator, actor, producer, ladies and gentlemen, just turn it down, Mr. Robert Andrus. Robert, hello.
I wish we were really live, you know? Wouldn't that be cool?
It was kinda cool.
If people cared, you know, about us, you know? like
You're stepping on the dude's intro, and like
Oh,
I
my
said
bad.
hello.
Oh, okay, that's all you need.
Hello.
I totally fucked up my intro. I had it all planned and stuff. Like I was.
We can try it again if you want.
No, that's fair.
All right.
No, let's move
Oh,
on.
could we
This
just
has
do a
already
take
got long.
two?
Just
No,
wanna do
no,
Jake
I don't
too?
want to. No.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah,
Because
no.
honestly, I love that shit. So hello, everybody. Welcome once again
Why is this,
to
like,
Pull
ringing
Focus.
in my ear?
You got to turn it down a little bit.
I
on this.
did, but if
turn
I
it all the way down.
I'm
turn it the
older
other-
now, so I can't hear as well.
Push
as
it the other direction and see if it gets quieter, and that means that you're turning it in the right direction.
No. I know how to operate this fucking toggle.
Okay.
I mean, come on. But I think something's wrong with my ear. If I put it too high,
Yeah,
it's
that's funny.
distorted. But
Really?
if I put it too low, then I can't hear you.
Okay. Well,
Do you have some bad headphones?
No, I don't think so. I think it's my earrings.
my level seems to be pretty good.
Well, yeah, but
Do you want different headphones? I'll get you different headphones.
no, I'm fine.
Are you wearing the headphones on the right? You know, there's
Where would I put them on my cock?
maybe.
Like-
Can you hear through your penis? I have no idea. You are talented.
We did call you a penis head earlier.
That's
so
true. That's true. I can hear through the top of my head.
That's right.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Pull Focus. Today, we are going to
God, I
tackle
wish we had people that listen to us.
to the 5 people that we know occasionally listen to us every few months or so. Hello, and thank you, and I'm sorry. Secondly, though, this episode, we're going to talk about something we probably should have touched a little earlier, but it's something that's been on all of our minds, and it is the Oscars. Very specifically, Mr. Guillermo del Toro. He won an Oscar for Best Film. So we thought it would be fun to talk about the director's history and go through a couple of the films that he's made, either as a director or contributed as a writer. I think with the ones that we're talking about tonight, he's been the director on all of them, right?
Correct.
But we want to bring that up and let you guys know what we thought about, you know, him as a director and use these really cool films that we brought up today as points of example. But before we get into it, guys, how you doing? Besides now being able to hear through your cock or something. I mean, besides
I'm
that,
not wearing pants.
yeah, I know, and I do not like it. But it'll grow on me. It'll be fun.
That's true. Well, it'll grow on me too.
Yeah, I'm sure. How are you guys doing? What's been going on? Tell me about what's up.
I haven't done anything for 3 months.
Except for complain.
That's a lot.
Okay.
I guess my birthday was last week. That's that.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Thank
buddy.
you. You could have brought me a cake or
I
a
could have.
cupcake.
I could have.
I brought you a Snickers.
Well, that's fair.
Hazelnut Snickers.
The ones that were discounted in the fucking,
Hey,
barrel.
they're still delicious.
Costco.
They're delicious.
Let's see.
It was
No,
Costco.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I just don't
I
like you
brought
very
treats.
You don't like Andrews or you don't like me?
It was your birthday, fool.
That's true.
I didn't show up anytime soon.
Well, I didn't invite anybody.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what we did?
What would you do?
What I did do is I decided that the kids didn't have to go to school.
Nice.
So we played hooky, and I took them to the Fun Center. Have you guys ever been there?
No. Where's that? Where's it at?
It's in Sandy.
Okay.
Yeah, roller skating, laser
Yeah,
tag.
it was awesome. And so, I mean, they had been there before, but never, illegally. Because we snuck in through the back door.
What?
No.
What? Illegally.
So we sold coke. But they
Happy
played hooky.
birthday, Dad.
Yeah, they played hooky, so
Jesus.
it was awesome.
It was
Okay.
exciting.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, what else did I do? I ate a lot and went to a basketball game. So
That's
it was
good.
nice.
Yeah, go
It was
Jazz.
nice. It was good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time
Did
on
they
your
win?
birthday.
No, because
I'm sorry.
Because God hates you.
Yeah, God hates because they were playing the Celtics too. So it's not even like it's like a 4-leaf.
They've beaten the Celtics before,
but they
it's no
didn't that
excuse.
night,
Yeah.
so that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Anyway,
How about you?
That's
Good. I'm
unfortunate. I'm
well.
sorry.
Happy belated birthday. I'm glad you're doing okay.
Indeed.
I'm still alive.
And if any time you're going to, get anybody started in a life of crime, you have to start them young. So I want to give you kudos to that. Pretty soon, both.
That's true because we just walked in, and when the bouncer came, my little one kicked him in the knees.
That's it.
It was awesome.
Your daughters are going to run
in
this
the
town
Benize.
like Bugsy
knees.
Malone.
Benize.
The Benize. I was gonna say balls, but she can't reach that high.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Andres, how are you doing, boss? It's been a minute. How have things been for you?
I am here. I am busy. Busy is good.
This is good. Excellent.
Yes.
So, guys, we're just going to jump in and speak about, Guillermo del Toro and about these movies and whatnot. Kind of starting with the first question, what is good and bad in general about del Toro's directing style, do you guys think? I mean, he's had about a dozen movies or so since his first one, which was Mimic, I believe, back in like the late 90s.
93,
That was
94, something like that.
That was like the first one where like he got the big director credit, and I think it's safe to say that he's grown a lot visually, cinematographically. He's grown a lot as a creator. But what are some of the things that del Toro has fans for a reason? Why?
You want to take it?
Am I going too deep too soon?
No, I don't know. Like, here's the thing: is Del Toro, and I'm throwing this out here, really a household name?
I don't think so. No.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I would say
The
in a
fan-
special effects practical makeup world, yes.
Okay.
what do you know? What are you talking about? No. And
Look at
I
all
don't
of his
mean-
films.
No, yeah, but that's like okay. I know what you're saying, but
Yeah.
but like it's
Yeah, he's right.
no because
No,
aesthetically.
but the question was household, and the answer still is
No,
no,
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So like even in the makeup world, I would say that the dude that I forgot, he's also like a Del Toro or some shit. The guy that does The Walking Dead,
Oh, Greg Nicotero.
Nicotero,
Nice.
right?
Thank you.
Yeah,
See,
Greg
the fact that you could just go,
Sure. And I could also say, well,
well,
sure.
Del Toro
There's
didn't do the
there's
makeup.
other things.
I mean, you know what I
Right,
mean? Now he's
right.
visual.
But
was a
he's
bad
visual,
idea.
and when we bring up mind, there's also a point that I wanted to make on that
Cool.
topic.
But the point being is that I don't think that he's a household name, and so I think that his movies have been great because they are just great.
Uh-huh.
It has nothing to do necessarily with. I mean, when I say this, it's his vision. He's a director. Of course, he's the leader, and it's the reason that they're great movies.
Right.
But when I say this, is the work of art stands bigger than his name.
Spielberg.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
I'm-
You would
yeah,
never
that's
say
your point.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And I understand
when I say
your point.
Spielberg, it
Correct.
doesn't matter whether you know, and you would know 10 Spielberg movies, but automatically you can just
Well,
go. But
For
yeah,
sure.
you could say that with quite a few directors. You say Scorsese, you
exactly.
know exactly.
But when
what
you go
you're
Del
in for.
Toro, very
Tarantino.
seldom are you, even if Hellboy is his most
Commercially
commercial,
viable.
violent. Yeah. I don't think that people would say, "Oh, that's Guillermo's movie." You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I don't think they would do that. So.
Okay.
Well, and to be honest, Guillermo came into my bubble of knowledge when Pan's Labyrinth came out because
I think
it was
that's most
nominated.
people. Yeah,
That's it.
I think that's most
Yeah.
people.
I had no idea he did Mimic, and I liked that movie when it came out.
I think-
I had
I
no
think-
idea he did Hellboy.
I think it'd
and
be a
he
good
did
point.
that, you know.
Because I had the same struggle as well until really Pan's Labyrinth. I was not aware that Del Toro had such an impressive.
History.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Well, but not really though. If you look at his actual directing credits,
Uh-huh.
it's a handful. I mean, he
That's true.
produces stuff and he writes stuff, and I think that if you put it all together, then you say
He
impressive.
collaborates a
Yeah,
lot.
he collaborates a lot.
Yeah.
You're right.
But he doesn't like his thing, and that's why I'm like, okay, if you're a cinephile, you go, oh, that's a Del Toro movie. 'cause
Yeah,
of the
there's a
way the
Del Toro
lighting,
style
There's a
to it.
style to it.
There's a
But
style
again,
and
it's
there's
not
a-
Spielberg.
yeah,
It's not,
feel.
and I would say that Spielberg doesn't have a style. He's just made such big
So many
movies.
goddamn movies.
And they're big. They're
Yeah.
huge, you know. Whereas, like with his movies, they're work of art.
Well, on that, let's go into this then, because it could be argued that his most recent film, the one that he was nominated and won the award for, *Shape of Water*, in and of itself may be the biggest film that he's made.
I would
and
say
had the
that.
most influence. Let's jump into that and check out the trailer.
If I told you about her, the princess without voice, what would I say?
She looked good naked. That's what I would say. I mean, it surprised me.
I'm glad you said it.
Alive.
she's also very talented. It's
I
hard.
really
without
like
a
the
doubt.
editing in this too. How they put it together. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I liked everything about this movie, to be honest. I mean,
She deaf?
except that part. No, that's not true. I liked everything.
You clean that lab, you get out.
This may very well be the most sensitive asset ever to be housed in this facility.
Like the sets and everything are just
You may
crazy.
think that thing looks human. Stands on two legs, right? But we're created in the Lord's image. You don't think that's what the Lord looks like, do you?
This creature is intelligent,
You look like a
capable of
guppy.
language, of understanding emotions.
When he looks at me, he does not know how I am incomplete. He sees me as I am.
J'avoue, je n'ai bavé pas vous, mon amour. Avant d'avoir eu vent de vous.
The natives in the Amazon worshiped it like a god.
Get him out. What are you talking about? No.
You need to take it apart, learn how it works.
I don't want an intricate, beautiful thing destroyed. We can do nothing. I'm sorry.
Don't do this, Eliza.
What is she saying?
Don't do this.
Oh, God, it's not even human. If I told you about her, what would I say? I wonder.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on and talk about the cool points of this movie. We were mentioning them a lot when it came to just the initial trailer. The trailer's done very well. It does give a really good cut up of what the movie was able to provide to audience members and why it was influential. I think why it won the award. The cinematography, as we mentioned, was really good. The way they cut the shots was all right. The story is, a love story. That's always a good thing to see sometimes. And just from a technical aspect, as we have come to be familiar with whenever it comes to a Del Toro kind of production, technically speaking, it was pretty sharp. But Bert, this was your choice. And of the other two choices, you thought this one was the best. Why don't you add on a little bit more in regards to why you think this is Guillermo del Toro's best film to date?
Well, it's a culmination of what he's done.
Yeah.
So, because of the three, we'll just use the three because we can get into the whole. Because I hated Pacific Rim. I thought Pacific Rim was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree completely.
But
I did
if we're
not
going to talk
enjoy it.
about Guillermo del Toro,
As the director.
the auteur, the main force,
As the creator.
and Hellboy may not fall into that, but it's still his vision.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you could totally see that how he's grown from using the three that we have,
Yeah.
from Hellboy to this one, and this is a pinnacle, where you go. He took the best elements of everything, and to the point where it's almost, I really like the fish guy of Hellboy, and I
Right.
really like the colors of Pan.
But
and
this
I
is
really
better.
like-
You can see how he's
exactly.
grown.
And he grabbed the elements that he learned.
I would even say there's mimic in there.
Well, no, but I'm just using
I
the,
agree
the
with
three
you.
that we picked. I'm
Yeah.
using the three that we
Sure.
picked. Because again, if we went down that road, well, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a culmination of everything. Sure,
So,
I get it.
but the three that we pick, you could totally see the arc of that growth.
It's definitely a compliment to how he is as a creator, too, because we were mentioning this before. He's not, when it comes to just the amount of film and the amount of time that he's had, he's really been able to accomplish a lot. We don't, obviously, Shakespeare or Scorsese, they've been on... They've been alive longer, so they've had a lot more opportunity to make film.
Did you say Shakespeare?
He did.
No, I did?
Yeah.
Spielberg.
Shakespeare.
My bad.
Yeah,
Scorsese.
I was like,
I was following along. I was
well, yeah, but I didn't know if he meant Shakespeare because you could make that argument.
Shakespeare's been
longer.
alive a long
It's been a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Let's go with it. But I think you could argue, and it's definitely present in his work, that in not a short amount of time, but definitely in the catalog of Del Toro, he's worked really hard and has accomplished a lot to just get his own style and make that recognizable, especially from a commercial point of view. So
Oh, without a doubt. When I think he may become a household name because I think that was like the real question. You know, is he
especially
also-
now after
yeah.
this.
And distinctly, where he beats out, let's say, a Spielberg, is that he has his own look.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the only person that I could think of immediately is like you say a Tarantino film. You
Yeah.
don't say Pulp Fiction. You don't say
Right.
Reservoir Dogs. I think Del Toro is going to be there. You know, as
Mm-hmm.
far as like it will be clearly a Del Toro movie.
Well, Tarantino's another good example of where you can see. Granted, I've never made a movie in my life, so I'm impressed by anybody who's been able to complete a film. But Tarantino's catalog is reasonably small. But we can already say that we know a Tarantino film.
Correct.
We know
and it's used as a descriptive term. It's not used as like, oh, Tarantino made it. It's like Tarantino-esque.
Well, and we've touched on that in past episodes. Where like I think Andres, you mentioned that where instead of like getting super technical on set or something, people will just generalize because it's simpler and say, hey, just make it more Spielberg or make it more Tarantino.
Well, I don't think they use Spielberg.
But like as an example, I mean.
Well, certainly you could say Scorsese, you could say Oliver Stone, you could say several names.
And people are going to know the tone of the movie just from that.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And I would argue that Del Toro is either there or on his way of being there. And Shape of Water.
I would say if you didn't realize that, watch them and then
Well,
tell me
no,
that he
but I
doesn't
think
have
Shape
a
of
style,
Water
for sure.
is
Yeah.
the perfect film to, one, be introduced to Del Toro, and to see him flex his muscles.
Yeah.
Whereas with the other films, though great, and I still argue that Shape of Water and Pan's Labyrinth are works of art.
Yeah.
They're not just film. Pan is still not as refined as Shape of Water was.
Let's jump into that a bit then, because Pan's Labyrinth was the next one we're going to talk about. What we're going to do is we're going to get a brief synopsis, guys. The main point of us coming together today for this episode was first to talk about why we thought our choices were the best Del Toro film, and then we're going to talk about which one was the best and why. So we're going to go back in time a little bit. We're gonna now look at Pan's Labyrinth, which was Robert's choice and a very good choice. But let's take a look and check out the trailer and see what we can see.
In a dark time, when hope was bleak, there lived a young girl whose only escape was in a legend that wanted her back. The legend speaks of the lost soul of a princess from another world who will one day be reborn.
Not that old of a film, but the CGI already looks dated to me just a little bit.
And that's why I think Shape of Water is better, because it's, again, the culmination of, now he's using technology. I mean, he used the best that he could at the time, but now it's caught up to him, you know?
But seriously, there's the costumes though and everything.
Well, that's what I love to him too, is he does use practical.
Del Toro has such a good way of balancing the
CGI and
the CGI and the prop, but also just like the fantasy and putting it in like, I'll let the trailer, we'll talk about that later. But
it's a really dark Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, but it is beautiful. It's a beautiful film.
Yeah, because the only reason it's set apart now is time.
Yeah.
But if at the time when it came out, you were like, oh my god.
It's Lord of the Rings syndrome.
Yeah, right.
From Picture House and the imagination of Guillermo del Toro. In darkness, there can be light. In misery, there can be beauty. In death, there can be life. Pan's Labyrinth.
2006. All right, so that was Pan's Labyrinth, guys. Let's talk really quick. Robert, this is your choice in regards to the discussion we're having tonight. Why did you choose Pan's Labyrinth as a way of? I mean, why do you think this is Del Toro's best film?
Well, one is it was nominated. I can't remember if it won.
Right.
It did not, I believe, right?
We will find that out.
So it certainly was put on the map back in 2006.
Indeed. Way back when.
Although I didn't watch it until we had the topic come up.
Right.
So I just watched it a few days ago.
It said 3 Oscars.
Okay.
Yeah, so it won some Oscars, but it did not win Best Picture or Best Director, obviously. 3 Oscars, Seymour. Right there, in the yellow. In the yellow. There you go.
Holy cow.
So one was, sure, I would really like 2. Oh, there they are, too. So he won for cinematography, art direction, and makeup.
Which makes sense.
And it was nominated for foreign language film. That's interesting.
That is interesting. Well, it was all in Spanish, so that's...
It was.
Was it Castilian?
It was...
Castilian, or...
Well,
I think it was because it was in Spain.
Yeah,
but
and the actors, most of them come from Spain.
Please get up to the microphone. You're killing me.
He was giving me some time. It was like,
okay. You're right.
I was waiting.
You're right. I apologize.
Damn, get off my back, man. I'm trying to be more equal share.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Like, everybody get their time.
And here I am fucking everything up. So,
right.
Please, Andrew,
like
keep
my
going.
intro.
Well, so I was always intrigued to watch it, but never actually went to go watch it. And I think some of maybe the comments that I heard about Pan's Labyrinth before deterred me from seeing it back when it came out.
Was
and
it
I'm
like
not sure exactly.
The whole fascism part of it, or was it?
Maybe I don't even remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. It's just there's several movies I haven't had a chance
you've
to
seen
go
other,
see this year.
You've seen other Del Toro films, and it's interesting that after you saw this one reasonably soon, you're breathing right in the microphone. Now I want you to back
That
up.
one was me.
Okay, but never mind.
Damn, you on me, man. I wasn't even.
I'll
I was
own
looking
that
at that
one.
thinking, oh my god.
It's interesting.
Penis head is on me, people.
Yeah.
It's interesting that.
Go ahead, say something else.
My head is very strong. It's interesting to hear that even though you've seen this film reasonably soon, it is the best one in your opinion when it comes to.
Well, I actually chose it before knowing.
Okay.
So, like for instance, I had already seen all of the other movies.
Right.
So this was an obvious choice, so that I could watch it and then argue why it would be. But I would say based on the history of his movies up to this point, I would absolutely say that this is his best.
Yeah.
Now that Shape of Water has come out, I don't know that I can argue that this is his best.
Okay, well, it's going to be a terrible show tonight, but
no,
I'm kidding.
No, but I mean,
it's the culmination of his work.
The great,
you're right, and you're being honest. You're being honest, which I appreciate.
Well, and the great thing about the opportunity to have this discussion is now I am now more educated in the Guillermo del Toro point of view.
I find it so interesting that Del Toro, like you mentioned before, Bert, he's definitely not a household name. There's definitely plenty of people who went to see the fish humping movie. What was it?
The fish humping
Grinding
movie?
Nemo. Grinding Nemo is what it's been called on the internet a lot because there's a lot. Well, spoilers.
You're talking about The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Is Grinding Nemo?
He tried this joke earlier.
What are you talking?
Notice how it went flat.
It did go flat. I forgot what Grinding. I forgot the Grinding Nemo one. But
I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah,
so.
just Google it.
Okay.
But Google it. But it's interesting to me to hear that when we speak of an actor, of course, somebody who's doing things professionally,
right?
And that's actually pretty common when it comes to other people I know of who work in the industry. They goddamn well know who Guillermo del Toro is. But when you speak with Tom, Dick, and Paul on the street, they may say, "Oh,
you don't like Tom, Dick, and Paul?
I hate him. I'm going to TP their houses later." But it's interesting
You're
to me
putting
how
a TP in their houses,
dude. It's
just go. You bored me at hello, but go ahead.
Wow.
And Mike takes another swig of scotch.
That's what you get for the mouth breathing thing.
And there we go.
And
Okay.
the penis thing.
Yeah. Excuse me for trying to provide our 6 listeners with quality content.
All right.
But it's interesting to me.
Go ahead, smart guy.
It's
Keep
interesting I'll work on it. It's interesting to me to speak with people who are in the industry who know exactly who Del Toro is, and they know Pan's Labyrinth, they know Hellboy, they know Mimic, they know all this stuff. And one of the things that I heard with people that I know is that it's about time. It's about time he's gotten an Oscar because he's been able to do such good work when it comes to effects, when it comes to art and direction, when it comes to story, screenplay, and
But
that
I
kind
don't
of
think
thing.
not to interrupt. But
Oh no,
based
you
on
meant to interrupt. It's
I
fine.
did. I don't think that those other movies are Oscar worthy as far
Okay.
as for best film.
Okay,
Pan's Labyrinth is special.
And that's exactly where I was
But-
going to go
but
with my
Shape of
comment as
Water-
well.
gotcha.
is really like you go, okay, what's wrong with this movie?
So
You
Well,
know
there's
what I
a
mean?
lot wrong with it.
Well,
but-
you're wrong.
No,
I mean, like,
excuse me?
yeah, you're wrong
Hey.
because as far as like, and I don't think
How
that the
dare
Oscar.
you.
Listen to me. I don't think that Oscar is a pinnacle of worthiness.
Well, it's a barometer, though. I mean,
Exactly. Thank you. So when you win Best Picture, it's not awful. You may not like it,
Okay.
but it's not awful.
And
Okay.
and I'll agree with you because they've also changed the format. You know, now
How
there's
so?
now
How
there's
so?
10 Best Picture
Sure,
nominations
sure.
versus when we were growing up, when we were younger,
There were
it
not
was
nearly
like
as many.
5 or 4
Yeah, you're
or
right.
whatever
Exactly.
it was. They really narrowed it down. But now there's so much content, and it's just like
do you guys think that the Oscars both are still guilty of the sin of like making people decide what's popular and what's good?
Oh,
yes,
yes.
Because
I think it's
La
the
La
money
Land's a
machine.
perfect
It's the
example.
money machine.
yeah.
I think Shape of Water got some flack in regards to that, and it made me a little. It made me. I don't think it's Del Toro's best film, but I did enjoy it a lot, and I do understand as to why it got the award. Hold on, but it bothered me a little bit
Drinking.
that never. But it bothered me a little bit that it was used as an example for that argument, where you're on the internet and you're saying, okay, well, this is just Hollywood telling us that we should like this movie, even though it's kind of weird, blah blah blah. I mean, do you guys subscribe to that ideal? Do you think that the Oscars really do that, where it's just this council of people who know movies and they're saying, well, your taste isn't that good. This is what you should be watching.
No, because there's always those hidden treasures that you do get out of it.
Right.
That I
Shape
mean,
of Water.
honestly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
Like,
Moonlight last year.
Right. And I did
That's a
go
good
see
point.
Shape of Water before, right when it came out.
Right.
That
So,
was
yeah.
that was on my list. I'm like, I'm going to go see this.
Yeah.
This looks awesome.
Yeah.
So I did, and I certainly wasn't disappointed. But there's several other Oscar movies that I didn't run out and go watch.
I hear you.
Well, to me,
And
like,
that's after knowing that they were nominated.
Yeah.
and you guys might disagree with me, but I'll throw it out there. Last year was more of a commentary of what you just said.
Yeah.
As far as like, I did think that La La Land was more hype
Okay.
than actual
Quality
This is film
or-
and art. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah.
And it paid off. I mean, the Oscars actually paid off because they picked Moonlight.
Right.
And so at that point, then you go, okay, well, maybe they took the smaller film that didn't make as much money as La La Land, didn't
No.
have the big splash of actors.
Right.
Again, now a year has passed or 2 years have passed. Name the lead. Name the guy that won the Oscar.
Well, you made that point last
Yeah,
time when
right.
we recorded.
Del Toro, this one, again, he doesn't have A-listers, but he definitely, in Shape of Water I'm talking about,
Yeah.
he definitely has
Talent.
acting caliber.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially starting with
Well,
the
and here's the thing, because in Shape of Water, I can tell you that Richard Jenkins has been
Exactly.
nominated.
Yeah.
I can tell you
That's
that Octavia Spencer has won.
Exactly.
And I can tell you that Michael Shannon has been nominated.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just like,
exactly.
I can go down the list on that
That's
one.
true.
That's exactly right.
I don't know that I could do that with Emma Stone, who won
Absolutely.
until she won.
Okay.
Until she won.
Although I've appreciated her growth and work.
and again,
but
Talented as hell.
Talent, yeah,
Talent
and,
is talent.
and I'm not even knocking La La Land as a bad film.
no,
I'm not.
No.
But what I'm saying is,
But there's a difference.
there
But
is a difference.
You were told it was good.
exactly.
I think that's really what.
With Shape of Water, when I went to go see it, because I saw
You
it
could find out for yourself.
after the Oscar,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird because generally I have a sense of like, oh, I think that these are the films that are going to actually run
Yeah.
with it. The year that La La Land was nominated was the only year where I had to watch almost all of them, and if not all of them,
Uh-huh.
because I couldn't like this. I don't know.
You had to see for
You had
yourself.
to-
It's
I had
like,
to
is
see-
this really the Oscar nominee?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas
There's
this
been
one,
a few years like that.
I know, I know.
It's just like,
I know.
I don't understand.
No,
I don't get
absolutely,
it.
Absolutely.
I
but
don't,
I'm using
yeah.
the last 2 years,
Yeah,
which would be
I hear
more,
you.
you know. With this one, just based on the trailer, you go, it has all the elements that it needs to. Like you said. I mean, it's not
The
like they went and
cast
picked
alone.
Joe
Right.
down the road and said, you do this and you do that, and we'll get a flashlight and light it up.
Yeah.
He had an agenda.
Absolutely.
Now, whether it was Oscar agenda, I don't think Del Toro's that guy.
I don't
either.
think
But
so
he had an
either.
agenda to say, I'm going to do a work of art.
Well, I think it's great that you guys mentioned the cast because we talked about that before we started recording, how casts in Del Toro films are forces to be reckoned with. And when it comes to our last example of awesome cinematography by Guillermo, I think that runs
No,
true.
he didn't shoot it, dude. He's
Even
directing.
this...
Well, Guillermo did shoot.
He didn't
the
shoot
other
Hellboy.
Navarro.
Oh, fair enough.
There's
Anyway.
two Guillermos, which I
Fair
thought was
enough.
awesome.
Is that what you mean?
I know. I'm a jerk.
No,
Okay.
no. I understand him. Was that what you meant? Was Guillermo Navarro? Really? You brought that up? I'm talking to you, Mike.
You're killing me.
Okay.
Let's watch...
I'm having fun. Let's watch Hellboy.
Let's watch
This is
trailer for
fun.
Hellboy. Here we go.
The worst one of the
I
three.
enjoy
That's my
Hellboy
pick.
so much.
Oh my god.
Look at that all tech. That's so
good.
awesome.
Watch your hand.
You can tell just by the music. All of a sudden, I'm in Tim Burton land.
God,
Welcome to the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense.
this audio on this trailer is terrible. It's
Just
old.
like the movie,
Yeah, it's
man.
old. Stop it.
There are things that go bump in the night, Agent Myers. And we are the ones who bump back.
Yes. Oh, look at him.
Boy.
Look at him.
Well, come on in. Meet the rest of the family.
Abraham Sapien.
Liz Schumann. It's a beautiful name.
Don't worry, Boy Scout. She'll take care of you.
These freaks. They give me the creeps.
Really?
Every time the movie
Hell
gets a look
yeah.
at them,
If there's trouble, all us freaks have is each other.
What the hell is that?
Something big.
In the absence of light,
Man, that was so good.
darkness prevails. 60 years ago, they tried to destroy the world.
Who's the main
They're back.
villain?
It's the Russian dude.
No, I know in the movie, but what's he doing? I was trying to.
All of the Russian.
Oh.
I have no idea.
Do you need a Russian bad guy?
Yeah, we'd have to go back and see because I can't remember.
We'll check. We'll check.
Let me go in and say hi.
This trailer's a little too long.
Are you gonna be okay?
How big can it be?
Itty bitty.
2004. Jesus Christ. So, guys, that's trailer for Hellboy. That was my pick for this lovely discussion we're having. By far my favorite, and definitely arguably the best
Yeah.
Del Toro movie.
You can argue that.
I absolutely will.
You're
Roxborough.
wrong.
I think his last name is Roxborough.
I'll double check. So, Mike, tell us why you think this is Del Toro's best film. Why, thank you, Mike. I'll be more than happy to say so.
That's the only time people
So-
are not going to pay attention to this.
So I think that the reason as to why I like Hellboy so much and why I think it is Del Toro's best film is because I think
Because you have no taste in movies.
that's not true at all. I have great taste.
Who told you that? Your girlfriend?
You did. That's
When?
the reason, when you said, "Yeah, hey Mike, let's do a podcast together." I love your taste in cinema. That's the reason why I want to
That
do
is
it.
totally not even close.
That's
how
the way.
this conversation.
That's the
went
way
down.
I remember.
I
it.
know that you have fits of fantasy, but
But anyway, the reason as to why I like this movie the best is because I think it captures all the elements of Del Toro in my favorite kind of genre. Not only was he smart enough to kind of capitalize around this time when we started getting a huge surge in comic books being made into movies, so not only was it a good decision to make, but his style fits perfectly with action. His style fits perfectly with fantasy, and that's exactly what this movie is. An action fantasy movie about a demon from hell who's a good guy who's trying to save the world.
I can't believe it. You sold me on that.
Excellent.
That's not even close to true. I mean, you were so wrong.
Really? You think so?
Well, here's why.
Okay.
And
Let's go into talking about like why now. Okay, so you think that yours is the best, mine's the worst, Robert's is someplace in between.
yeah.
Why is that?
Okay. Again, it's a culmination of his work.
Okay.
If
that's
it's
not
awesome.
fair. He made this in 2004.
That doesn't mean anything.
It does absolutely mean
That's
a lot.
not true. Schindler's List is probably still Spielberg's best movie, not Player Ready 1 or whatever the fuck.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Jaws would be an argument. Close Encounter of the Third Kind would be another argument.
It's a good movie.
That's what I'm saying. Time didn't matter. It's still a good movie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We just did the Godfather trilogy.
That's true.
So you can't. Time isn't a reason. Now you might make the argument that time affects the special effects, but a good story is a good story.
Corral Roden, by the way.
Like a good film still.
It's
can
timeless.
surpass. Yeah, it's timeless. It does. Star
Wars. Where do
Wars.
we find the balance then? Because then we were just making good points about how Del Toro is committed towards evolving as a director,
And he has.
yeah. But then, how are we to say that he hasn't reached his apex at Hellboy or at Pan's Labyrinth or at
Because Shape of Water, again, you yourself said it. If Oscar's a barometer,
Yeah.
Hellboy wasn't even a footnote.
Okay, but
You
but then we go back into like how we don't agree with the Academy all the time.
That's another argument. But from your mouth, Oscar's a barometer.
Oh, yeah.
And so like
I would also say this was made as a popcorn movie.
Exactly.
And the popcorn movies typically don't win the Oscars.
That's
not
true.
only that, but
and
they're not
that's
as good
where
as
I
the
would
art
say
film.
It kind of equals out a little
this
bit.
is made as a comic book movie, and even
Absolutely.
though some comic book movies may be nominated
Sure.
for
Logan
certain things,
this year, Logan.
right,
That's true.
For certain things, was it nominated for Best Picture,
screenplay.
but not Best Picture?
Well, again,
Right.
that genre is going to take
Right,
a long time.
and that's
Time,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So, as a comic book movie, look at the poster art for it too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's classic.
Is it a love story?
A little bit. It's a little bit of both.
No, and
What are you crazy?
and I-
No, not at all. Listen to me.
him
The
and
reason-
Firestarter. You know,
Exactly. This movie is the apex. I mean, not only was he
The apex?
absolutely
blue fire that doesn't
Every-
burn through clothes.
every Del
Thank you.
Toro
Or the CGI is
I know.
dated.
it's
I know.
it's
I know.
psionic flame. And
Psionic-
she can choose what she wants to burn with it.
Man.
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you
Come
very
on,
much.
man.
like her
Oh, see, look at that. Our studio audience agrees with
like
me.
her and you're welcome, studio audience. You're welcome. I just flexed a little.
Is Darth Maul better than the dude with the knife?
It has nothing to do with it.
Of course it does. It's
No.
the same character.
It is absolutely not the same
Oh,
character.
the other
How
one was
dare you.
deeper, right?
The other
Because
one
he's
was
made
a
out of sand.
Nazi, sir.
Because he was made out of sand.
He was a walking
He's a
zombie
sandy
bent on
Nazi.
vengeance from the
He
Third
was a
Reich.
sandy Nazi. Are you ridiculous?
No,
I mean,
I'm
come on.
being serious. Every movie, and you can't argue the fact that every movie after Hellboy has elements of Hellboy in it.
Oh, but see, that's not
This
fair either,
movie
because I was going to trash
a
on that.
direct influence on Del Toro's
But where
direction
you're
style.
wrong,
Sure.
Mike.
I would agree with that.
Thank
No,
you.
because both Mike Mignola could made these characters.
Right.
It wasn't Del Toro.
Oh no, I don't agree with that at all.
Hellboy is Mike Mignola's thing.
I know. He made the comic.
Okay, Abe Sapien is his.
All right.
You know, like, so you go down the line, and those characters now, did he grab elements? And this is what I do think is interesting.
Okay.
Like, the Fishman clearly is
Oh, that's
a
right.
descendant.
We talked about this.
Yeah,
we
like,
talked about
like
so,
the new
of Abe
Fishman.
Sapien.
we
Yeah,
talked
right.
about like that Twitter
Right,
post
sure,
that I mentioned before, where it's like, oh, Shape of Water. Oh yeah, I saw that. It was the prequel to Hellboy.
Right.
Dot.
So
Yeah.
so it's stuff like that where you go, he does grab elements of the previous films, and I think that circle.
Well, then you already proved my point.
No, you're wrong, and here's why. The circle. I'm using all the visual.
The circle
elements.
was also in Pan's
Yeah,
Labyrinth as the
exactly.
pillar base.
Right.
But you could do
And
that.
it's the emblem in Hellboy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the-
You can do that argument with every good director.
That's everybody's like influence of
Exactly.
putting in my
Absolutely.
signature. It's my signature.
That's
I
my
feel ya.
signature move.
I feel you. But
Excuse me.
I feel that it
Just
was
like putting Doug Jones in your movie is
Right.
your signature.
Right,
I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or
But
having green. Green is a big element.
It
with him.
is.
All the heroines,
That's
with
true.
the exception of Selma Blair, who's worthless,
Blue.
it was she was blue.
I'm sorry, Selma.
Yeah.
I
But
know.
the two
I'm with you
movies
there,
that matter, Pan's Labyrinth and Shape of Water,
Right.
you look and clearly he has a palette that he chooses.
Yeah, which he put in here, which he developed
No, he
at this
didn't.
movie. This
Hellboy
movie
was Hellboy before he touched it.
Mimic
Hellboy-
was green, by the way.
Hellboy was a comic book before this movie. Then it became Del Toro's Hellboy. Then it
No,
became
no.
yes, absolutely. Then it became
Hellboy
a property.
is still Hellboy.
It became a property that became.
Have you read Hellboy?
I haven't read all of it. No, not all of it.
Okay, all right.
I have read every page of
Right.
Hellboy.
But I
in the
do
history
know
of Hellboy.
the art style is completely different from this movie.
Not-
The art style
not-
is sharp. It's minimalist compared to this. It's
No.
almost completely different.
But
The only
that's-
similarity is vaguely
that's what-
the character design.
You're proving my point more and more.
How?
Because if you look at Del Toro's lighting scheme,
Okay.
it's shadows and light. He doesn't do anything elaborate. We just
get the
agreed.
fuck out of
Listen to me. We just agreed that he's one of those few geniuses that can use the right amount of CGI with practical.
Yeah, true.
And so, like, he's not doing anything he's not inventing the wheel. It's that he knows how to use his car.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay? So,
But this movie proved that he knew how to drive,
okay, well, I mean,
which is why it's the best.
his name isn't John Watson. It's Guillermo del Toro, and anybody that watches films goes, "Oh, I know who Del Toro is."
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for agreeing with me.
No, but
so
to
Robert,
say that this
we
is
have
his
to talk
best
about.
movie? Are you kidding me?
No, not at all. I think it's the
I
best
like
movie
that
he's
you
made.
guys are really like holding strong to your arguments. And I'm
Absolutely.
Because
just
I'm
like,
right.
Well, I really didn't choose mine. So I'm just like, I don't care. I
but
like all the
still,
movies. I do. I
Pan's
like them all.
Labyrinth, I would argue, is the reason that people will,
Remember him or
no, started to pay attention. Who's Guillermo del Toro?
Okay,
It
okay.
wasn't Hellboy.
It was not. No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you proved my point.
No, I agreed with you.
No,
it
no.
doesn't prove the point that Hellboy is not the best Del Toro movie. It absolutely is, first of all.
Why?
And secondly,
Now,
just because I
you might
agree with
say,
you
I
about some
like-
commercialistic ideal about people finally understanding who the genius of Del Toro really is.
You are
Captain Pan's
crazy.
Labyrinth
Okay.
has
So,
nothing.
nuts.
Has
so
nothing.
I'm gonna ask, why is Hellboy his best movie?
Because okay, calm down.
Yeah.
He can't even answer it.
Because
That's
you pissed
great,
me
man.
off
Just-
so
okay.
much.
Yeah, no,
There's-
he can't
Well, no,
do it.
just why is Hellboy his?
I'm going
best
to even let
movie?
you breathe. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Carry on.
I think
You're
Hellboy
wrong.
is Del Toro.
Yeah, I love that you just jumped
I
right
hate
on
you so
that.
much.
I know you guys are cracking me up.
It's like the same thing I said before. I think that Hellboy was just
is it because it's the spark?
Yes. Yes.
What?
Thank you. Yeah,
But
you're
again,
absolutely
that
right,
is
Andrew.
so stupid.
It's not stupid.
Listen,
It's true.
Spielberg's second movie was Jaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spark.
That doesn't make any
Do you think that it's
You are
better
not
than
making any
Crystal
sense.
Skull?
Yes.
Yes.
That wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wins
That-
Oscars.
Again,
Yeah.
that had nothing to do
No, it
with
doesn't.
numerical order
No, that
of the
shatters
spark
dreams,
of divinity.
child.
Are you
By the
fucking
time that he
kidding
gets to
me?
Crystal Skull, he has all the access. He doesn't have a broken shark. He's not just shooting water.
Okay, well,
Again, movie is movie. Art is
So,
art.
and for argument's sake, I will say, budgetarily, financially, I would say Pan's Labyrinth is a better movie based on budget.
okay.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, yes.
no, but even
And
so,
then if you go to Shape of Water, I'm wondering what the budget is on that.
well, it's probably
respectively
double than
speaking.
both of those.
Oh, easily.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Just based on the talent
But
alone.
Hellboy's no
and-
slough. I
No.
mean, it
No,
was,
and
it-
that's what I'm
budget.
saying. is
Financial, no.
I'm curious. I'm curious to find that out because obviously, a big budget.
Watch your headphones. Watch your
yeah,
headphones.
a big budget movie like Hellboy in 2004.
Oh, right,
obviously,
right.
they put some money behind it.
Totally.
To make it.
It's the
Where's your garbage?
Bruce decided to yell at the microphone from even a greater distance now, folks. We're going to see if that's any more
From
entertaining.
the other room. That's
Okay,
so
I'm
funny.
happy for
and
you.
then,
But by by
so
that
Pan's
time of
Labyrinth certainly was way more independent.
Right.
I would say on every level, but he still produced a really great movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Shape of Water, I would say, again, is the culmination of the budget, the production, everything coming together to work beautifully.
And that's
So,
what makes it the better movie.
And that would be why my argument would be for that, but we're not to that part in the show.
Not yet.
So,
But let's go to that
does
part.
Does it show the budget
It should do it at the bottom.
down there
right?
at the bottom? Yeah, it's so
Weekend.
budget
19 million.
20 mil.
Right.
Estimated, right?
Estimated, right.
Okay.
This is Shape?
And
Yeah.
that is 2017, and then we go back 11 years to Pan.
Well, this is Hellboy, though, no?
I got it. Hold on a second. I'm
Oh, you
working
can look at Hellboy while we're there.
I'm working the back button, gentlemen.
You got an opinion. You can't even work a mouse.
Hey, I am taking care
You
of
guys
3
crack
pieces
me
of
up.
equipment
You
right
guys
now.
crack me up.
A little respect would be appreciated.
Dude,
Grumpy, grumpy,
Jarez,
grumpy,
I don't
grumpy,
think you know what you're talking about.
Up
man.
a little
Oh, we
bit.
got to talk about that too, because you texted me about how like you thought I was stupid and that I smell farts on a daily basis. It's not fucking funny.
Go on. And
You can't even find the budget, bro.
There
it is.
So
13 million.
13.5.
So it wasn't even. Come on, man.
That's Pan. And
Yeah.
that's
Oh, that's Pan?
and that's
That's not
in-
Hellboy?
And that's
Are
in
you sure? Sure
Yep.
not. Oh, pants. I see it.
that's
Okay.
in money from I don't know what that
That's an
symbol
estimated
is.
budget. That was an estimated budget. So let's
Yeah,
go
but
and
is
see.
that dollar for dollar, do you think?
I think it's a euro. I think that's
Was
what-
that the euro
yeah,
thing?
I think so. I
Okay.
think so.
And then Hellboy is probably a bajillion. Holy crap.
66 million.
Million for Hell. Okay. So
That just
that just proves it
yeah,
even more.
I know.
And I can see it on your face now. I love that when we go to the budget.
Oh shit.
yeah.
Way to go, pal.
Okay. Hey, still his best movie. So anyway,
How?
Robert,
He even had a paycheck. Like they said, here's a check. It's blank.
Yeah.
Go make Hellboy.
yeah,
And
let's-
Shape of Water,
Oh, man.
with not even a third of that budget, whipped the shit out of it from one end to the other.
Yeah, so let's decide the quality of art based solely upon how much it costs. That's a great idea.
That's
There's-
fair.
Oh,
Shape
please.
of
Something
Water.
right up there that
please.
says
A
best
painting.
Guillermo del Toro movie.
Freaking-
What
what?
does it say? Because that's what we're talking about.
Wait, what does it say?
Who said that Kronos,
Kronos.
is his best? Or that's just a vote?
It's just a vote.
Okay, whatever.
So let's go then into your choice, Van Andres. I mean, we discussed why you think it's Del Toro's best movie, Pan's Labyrinth, but why specifically do you think that one is better than the other two choices that we made so far tonight?
Do you really believe that, though?
Well,
Let's go into that because you mentioned.
I don't know that I do.
Why
what,
is that?
What I will say,
Honesty, not like you, Mike.
I'm being honest, bro.
No, what I'll say is I was very pleasantly surprised
Mm-hmm.
with the outcome of that movie. Having seen Shape of Water before that
Right.
influences my choice there as well.
How so?
But here's the interesting thing. When we were playing the trailer tonight,
Yeah.
that's when I said, "Oh, it's an Alice in Wonderland story." I didn't realize that when I was watching it.
Yeah.
I didn't make that connection. And it's a very dark Alice in Wonderland story.
Yeah.
Now, here's my argument against Shape of Water, and it's only because I saw something on Facebook doing side-by-side comparisons of shots.
What?
That
Oh no!
that if you-
Plagiarism.
no, hang on. That if you put Shape of Water next to Splash,
Oh shit!
they have like
take it
so
back.
many similarities.
Similarities.
Like so many. Like the whole bathtub, add the salt in the bathtub
Yeah.
moment, the jumping into the water at the end,
Yeah.
the kiss underwater. Like
You're right. You're absolutely
even
right.
Like, even all the drama with the military going in, like they showed like the side by side.
But that proves something, though.
Uh-oh, here
where
we go.
it would eradicate
Now we get to
all
the
of
part
our
of the
choices
show where Bert
other.
struggles to make his point.
No, not at all. Because
It
I'm
was
always like
interesting.
on point here.
Yeah, there it is right there.
So
Shape of-
here's the thing.
it's like,
does
Oh
prove-
No, it's pretty
my
funny.
god!
It does prove that Guillermo del Toro is a painter, but
Okay.
not necessarily
I
a
agree.
creator.
I agree, and that's what
If
I was
all
going to say
three
by bringing
movies
that up.
that we picked, if we go by what Andrews is bringing up,
Hellboy was already created.
Exactly.
We're talking about Pan's Labyrinth, which
Was
is
it-
an Alice in Wonderland,
Correct.
and then we're talking about a remake of
Okay.
Splash.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay. I'll give it to you.
So
yeah.
so that
So painter, artist, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Is he Michelangelo or Picasso, or is he somebody that can also take that and evolve in his own way?
and that's
Well,
the thing.
Hellboy's an example of that. He
No,
did
it's
take.
not.
He did. He took somebody else's property and evolved it into something even better.
No, he didn't.
You're just this is just your comic book like
Well, yeah,
hierarchy
absolutely.
coming into play.
Because I mean, the thing about it is, Hellboy it will exist. Well, look, it's as simple as this.
Yeah.
Magnolia has tried to retire several times,
Yeah.
and the
Look
world
at
won't
this.
let
This is
it.
cracking me up. Like
know-
this whole thing is like
We'll play this for the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you look at Del Toro again, I think people went to go see Shape of Water because it was interesting looking.
Okay.
The cast is strong enough to where
Great
you're like,
cast.
oh, I like
Great
Shannon,
cast, yeah.
I like Jenkins. You
Okay.
know, like nobody had heard of Sally.
That's true.
You know,
Okay.
Now, Octavia Spencer could probably bring in a crowd. You
Yeah.
know,
oh, she
somebody-
most certainly can now.
yeah,
Yeah.
But we're not talking about. This is not Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
You know what I
sure.
mean?
I feel you.
And so
yeah, this is somebody who can actually act.
well, fair, whatever. I mean, opinion aside of that.
Please
but
don't
when
hate me, Oprah.
What's that? Yeah, now you dicked it all over.
Okay,
everybody.
she was nominated for Color of Purple, right? But way back in the day, Oprah Winfrey.
I don't know.
Or was it Whoopi
I don't
Goldberg? I
remember.
think it was Whoopi
That
Goldberg.
Well,
was
Whoopi Goldberg
Whoopi.
won, but she didn't win the Oscar.
Right.
She won it for that Patrick Swayze movie, Ghost.
But I thought she won for Color Purple.
I think she was
nominated, and that's why
Yeah.
it put her
Okay.
on the map.
Right,
I know
for-
she won for Ghost.
Well, I mean, what the hell am I even talking about? Oprah Winfrey, she runs an empire. I'm having problem running a goddamn podcast with you right now.
So the point is that like it does using this, talking about all the vehicles that he brought to our lives.
Right.
You can make the argument: is it an original thought? And the answer would be no.
Well, there's nothing.
Now, what he's done,
nothing's original. I mean,
that's not true. In
okay.
the sense, okay, yeah, if you break it down to the basis of good guy versus bad guy, you go into the Bible stories, yes. But what most of the auteurs that are out there that you go are truly like out there.
Yeah.
One of the things is that they will have something that will set them apart from everybody else.
Okay.
Now, Del Toro, again, I don't think it's about the content. It's what you're looking
It's
at.
the style of.
It's the style.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that I will ever agree with you in a comparison to Hellboy.
What's that?
Magnolia did create his own style.
Uh-huh.
But Guillermo still ripped it off and did create it.
Don't say ripped
Guillermo,
it off.
Well, no.
Don't say
because,
ripped it off. It was an
'cause
adaptation.
Yeah, right. And that's fair. But he did grab it, and it's clearly Del Toro film.
Yeah.
You know, it's him. And I think without Hellboy being commercially successful,
Right.
you don't have Pans, and you definitely don't have Shape of
I
Water.
completely agree with you.
So
Yeah.
the thing that I'm getting at is
So it may not be his best film, but we can agree that it's an important film. Hellboy.
I think the three that we picked is the
they're-
perfect
they're the-
three
they're the big
to
ones.
get introduced to
Yeah.
Guillermo del
Yeah.
Toro and to actually have
Yeah.
an educated guess of what he's about.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
You know,
I agree completely.
Because I don't think that the stuff like Devil's Backbone, Mimic, and the other one, the first one, yeah,
Kronos.
and I've actually seen Kronos actually, and I don't know if you guys have seen it,
No, I haven't.
but yeah, they're like that. They're pretty, and they're horror. You know, all three of them are horror. you know?
Horror-ish. Yeah.
But it's not a signature like Hellboy brought it to mainstream. You know, at least brought this look.
It's the best one.
No.
But no, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
We've always kind of discussed and made a point of saying like, well, this is the one that gave him or her the juice they needed to finally be taken seriously by people who didn't know any better.
Exactly. And I would argue that Hellboy was that film.
I can agree with you. Cool.
But to say that it's his best film, I think is far reaching.
That's okay. You can be wrong. It's fine to be
How
wrong.
am I wrong?
Yeah, you're always wrong.
Again, out of
So-
your words.
No, I
If it's a
appreciate-
barometer, both Pan's Labyrinth and Shape of Water
Oscar
are-
award winners.
Not only that, but critically acclaimed.
Truly.
Where you're going like, oh my God,
Right.
you know, kind of thing. And it's not jackasses like us. And not to say that they're right, but obviously there's something special.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas Hellboy, I think Andrus nailed it perfectly.
Right.
Is it any different than what we think about Avengers or Batman? Because those would fit more during that.
No, but except for the fact that it was in 2004 when all of this huge, which is a point that I made, where all of these huge comic adaptations, the moneymakers were just beginning to get started.
Right?
Yeah, but
And Del Toro saw that. He didn't have to take the job. He wasn't. He wasn't.
he would have taken the job because this was the explosive moment.
Right.
Well,
This is the moment that he knew he would be on the map.
I would
Right.
also
Because he's
I would
intelligent,
also
but-
I would also argue that if he had known that Pan's Labyrinth was on the horizon for him, Hellboy's a really good avenue for him to.
Oh,
do.
and
Truly.
I think he knew that.
Yeah, I think
I
you're
think
right.
he knew that.
I would say so.
Yeah, I think. And then you got to look up.
He's a smart
Look
businessman.
at
I'm
Nolan.
not saying that he's not.
Chris
I mean,
Nolan. I don't know when the first Batman came out.
we can check.
Yeah, and this is why. Because like, if it's around the
Batman
ballpark
Begins.
of Hellboy, then you
Dark
go
Knight.
like Chris Nolan had made awesome movies before Batman.
I thought it was Batman Begins.
Well, yeah, Batman Begins. That's the
my
one
bad.
that I'm using. Yeah.
You're right. Thank you. But anyway, you were saying.
But I think that
He made
without
movies-
Batman Begins, he doesn't have Dunkirk. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Okay, so-
Inception,
2005.
even Inception.
2005. So it beat it out by a year. 2004?
Yeah,
So-
2004.
yeah, maybe he had some foresight, but
Iron
Batman
Man?
Begins was already there. And Iron Man was probably... They all were coming out during this time.
2001-ish.
I think that Del Toro just knows how to read
That's fine.
And maybe his team, whatever you want to say, but
No, he's a
still part of
nerd.
it.
I mean, he's a nerd.
He knows how to read, but
He
the climate
researched
when
the
it comes,
algorithm and he incorporated
I
it.
think he did. I think there's enough weight given his career and given the decisions he's made as a director that absolutely is the case.
But like one thing
he went like super genius with the entertainment algorithm. I absolutely believe that.
But you know what? It's not about that either because like it's not something that I wanted to say. But like I've had the privilege of having him and Kevin Smith do a panel together in Comic-Con.
Oh.
And then
talking about Guillermo, right?
Yeah, Guillermo,
Okay.
and then they invited not Jay, the guy that did Iron Man, the guy from Swingers.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, like
Vince Vaughn,
John Favreau.
Favreau.
Okay.
So all of them are doing
awesome,
the panel.
by the way. He's just a
They're
great
doing
person.
the panel, and Guillermo is the more centered one.
I'm very happy that you guys had those experiences. I'm also a little blood red mad that you guys are humble bragging right now, and I don't appreciate it.
Well, whatever. I mean, I wasn't going to say because
I'm kidding.
here's the reason that I thought it was awesome because Guillermo, out of the three,
Yeah.
was the biggest nerd.
Yeah.
And he owed up to it.
Yeah, totally. He owns
And that's why, like when
he's proud of what he does.
Yeah, and then when you talk about that, he copied from this and he took the elements. It sounds like I'm bad mouthing him, but I love it because he actually likes this stuff.
Yeah.
He likes Creature from the Black Lagoon, so therefore
He'll make a movie about it.
you make a movie.
He'll make
about
his
it.
Black
You
Lagoon.
make his Black. Yeah. So he really like. What's his name? I can't remember if it was Favreau or the other one, Smith. We're saying that they've gone to his property, and Guillermo has his own house.
It's creepy.
Yeah, like
It's awesome.
He has two houses, and one that's just set stuff that he's gotten through the years.
That's
and
so fun.
prop
It's
stuff.
ridiculously cool.
Yeah,
That'd be really cool.
And you go like,
I collect
My
he
people.
loves this stuff.
Yeah.
So to knock him at any time is really like, well, I mean, it's like
Because
kicking
he's a real
puppy.
filmmaker.
Yeah, or at least he tries to.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
And-
John Favreau collects are movie stars. I don't know.
Well, there you go. I mean,
How dare you?
And I think Favreau's fine. But what I like about Guillermo a little bit more is that he's a full on nerd, and he would have made Shape of Water anyway.
Okay.
I
He
agree
would have
with
made
you
Pans
completely.
anyway.
I think you're right because like when we see
he's such a big fan of Hellboy
and
that he would have done it.
That's honestly that's one way how the budget extremes and the changes kind of lend to that argument because obviously Del Toro isn't he knows when he should take the big paycheck, but he doesn't necessarily need it to make something magic happen because the difference between Hellboy and Pan's Labyrinth was over $40 million when it comes to budget. That's huge.
50 million.
50 million,
actually.
right, yeah.
It was like 66 versus 13.5.
And that's crazy.
Or 20. You were saying Hellboy. It was 20.
Yeah, but he's still able to. I know no man is an island or no woman is an island, obviously, but holy shit. It doesn't matter if you give him a little money or a lot of money, the man's going to make magic. So let's go ahead and then move forward, guys, and just go into our expertise a little bit and kind of get to the tail end of what's going on. Let's start with you, Andres. When it comes to, and cast is always a big thing with Del Toro films. He
knows how to do it.
Talent,
He
heavy
knows how to
hitters.
do it, yeah.
So out of the three that we have as a point of example, are you going to stick with the one that you chose, or is it going to be a situation where you might pick and choose when it comes to
I am
what had
so
the best
biased
cast or
when
the
it
best
comes to that
acting
because Shape of Water, I've met individuals in that, and like I'm so biased, and I think that they're amazing people. So.
Okay, so Shape of Water gets it for you when it comes to actors.
Plus, I mean, look at their history of nominations.
Sure,
right?
Sure,
And that was a hell of a
that's a very good point.
Pan's Labyrinth, the acting
Yeah.
was really
good.
Especially the little girl I was really impressed with, but the double agent.
Yeah.
The girl.
Holy crap!
Well, you know, like
she
you guys ever
impressed
seen
me so much.
Y Tu Mama Tambien? Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah, she was in the.
She was
Was
in
she?
that.
Okay. I saw that a long time
Well,
ago.
that's
so,
the only thing. The only reason I
but she
recognize her
was-
is because of that film.
She was terrific. The doctor was terrific.
Let's
the captain. Oh my
he
gosh,
was awesome. Yeah.
especially after his like face was ripped off.
Spoiler alert.
Jesus, Andres.
Okay,
Spoiler
that was
alert.
such an exaggeration. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly. Plus, it was back in 2006. I'm sorry.
Right.
But even Hellboy had some really strong talent. Jeffrey Tambor is one of my favorite actors.
Totally.
He is terrific. John Hurt's in it. You know, there's just so many pluses. Doug Jones is in everything. I mean, as far as a silent actor is concerned, he's an amazing actor.
Right.
So there's just a lot of really, really good talent across the board. But if you want to collect nominations, you got to go with Shape of Water. Just because look at their history.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. That's awesome. Bert, when it comes to, being the guy behind the camera, which one do you think? And I would really like it if you do go deeper into like what we're talking about, the practical versus the CGI and the way that Del Toro does a good job of mixing that. Which one was strongest when it comes to being a camera guy from the cinematographer perspective?
The only reason Shape of Water wins is because that's his most recent thing.
Okay.
I think that he only gets better through film.
Yeah, and that's something we've touched on that we can all agree on.
I don't think his palette is any different from Hellboy to Shape of Water. That's where I would agree with you.
Yeah, I agree.
His palette's always the same. He uses bright colors, a lot of shadows, so on. I do think that he weighs heavily on practical, and if he doesn't, he knows how to use that CGI very well.
Yeah.
On top of that, he knows his editing board as far as like, okay, if he didn't capture it in the immediate, he knows what tone he's going to have from the jump. All his films are dark.
Yeah.
All his films have dark themes. Shape of Water probably is the more popular one too, in my opinion, because when you break it down, it's the most hopeful one. It's the one that has a love story, true love story.
Yeah, a real one.
Because I would say, like, if from a writing standpoint, Pan's Labyrinth is the better one, because Pan's Labyrinth is taking the Alice in Wonderland thing aside.
With Pan's Labyrinth, though, I think there's like 4 stories being melded.
And that's what makes it cool. That's what makes it cool, in my opinion.
There's 2
Whereas
worlds.
Shape of Water is pretty straightforward. Hellboy's pretty straightforward.
That's true.
Whereas Pan's Labyrinth is very elaborate. Why am I bringing that up in relation to cinematography?
Yeah.
Is that he really plays a symphony. Like, he's one of those dudes that he looks at a film and he goes like, okay, this is what affects me the most. And then all of a sudden it'll be, again, I keep using the word culmination.
Yeah.
When you look at the way he shoots, it really is integral to every aspect of the film.
It does.
It includes audio, includes lighting, includes editing, includes writing, includes acting. I think that those, like you could totally see it by frame.
Yeah.
He doesn't waste anything.
And I think he packs a lot in a 2-hour movie, for sure.
Yeah, and not only that, by frame, it is so in your face that you don't even know what to look at times.
That's true.
I mean, because you go like, okay, there's the obvious in Shape of Water when she floods the bathroom.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Right. Yeah. like it's the obvious that it's about the sex scene and all this stuff. But what's awesome about it is, what are you looking at? Are you looking at the shade of green water? Are you looking at the fish man trying to fuck a girl?
They're trying to fuck each other,
well,
sir.
Whatever.
Thank you very much.
But one of the things that stands out,
everything was consensual in that love scene.
Like when you look at the trailer, because the trailer's the thing that stood out with me is a simple black and white picture of that moment.
Yeah.
So he never wastes anything. He's really efficient at using all his tools.
Yeah.
But I think that what makes a Del Toro film will always come down to his palette of lighting. He paints
with light very well.
So the camera work doesn't have to be special. It's I would say that his set design is the reason that he's so good.
I'm trying to find the full crew list right now. So it was Dan Lawston who was doing the cinematography and was also the director of photography. Let's see. The art direction was Nigel Churcher. Set decoration. Costume design,
production design as well.
All of it. He just knows how to put it all together, and there's very few, because that's the thing that I do think that Del Toro may have a problem unless his next film is again so magical and it gets praised.
Let's take like 5 minutes and talk about that. Will Del Toro ever be able to make a good documentary or something like that? Something that is. So. Why is that?
He has to do these kind of films.
Do you think it's because like he not only he obviously enjoys this stuff, but do you think that he's so entrenched in the quote unquote brand, the Del Toro brand, that he'll be able to branch out?
He just likes it.
I don't know that calling your art and branding it as your art is something that you can step away from.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
It's to a point.
It goes back to
this
Tarantino.
is who I am.
Yeah.
I'm just like.
Like, how am I supposed to make money if I don't make my kind of movie?
This is me.
Or how am I supposed to be happy if I don't make my kind of movie?
Name a love story that Tarantino did. None.
Jackie Brown.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Make it
Pulp Fiction, Honey Bunny, and Pumpkin.
Right. Exactly.
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight is such a love story.
So if you go into that,
Django is kind of a love story.
Kill Bill is a love story.
Kill Bill is a love story.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah,
but
go fuck yourself.
We're reaching.
You're right. We are definitely reaching.
Yeah, we're reaching.
You're right.
Del Toro is not going to go away from this sci-fi, fantastical
violence
genre.
Kinda.
He's not.
You're right.
This is what he does, and he's good at it. So again, you're not going to have him do the new production of Roots.
He does use violence really well too. Like when Del Toro uses blood, yeah, it's just he doesn't. It isn't gratuitous, but it's still heavy hitting. Yeah, I really love that about what he does.
It's one of those things where you go like, why would he? Number one, number two, why would he? Because he likes it.
Yeah,
and number two, what else could he do that would be like, boy, that Del Toro movie?
I feel
like that love story between Sly and whoever, it's like,
sure,
it doesn't make it. No, it doesn't work.
I hear you. Well, look, from a sound perspective, from like mixing and production and everything, all of them are gorgeous, and I definitely fall into your train of thought when you find a director who's so good at being able to use a multifaceted palette. And I sound like such a douchebag saying that, but I'll say it anyway.
It's true.
It's so layered. It's so the right amount of everything in Del Toro's film. That's why he's one of my favorites. But again, it's what I usually fall back on. On Hellboy, you're dealing with so many elements that you can make sounds for. That's the one that I like the most. You have Cthulhu in it. I mean, who would not want to have the idea, get their hands in making an octopus monster from the ninth gate of hell coming up and breaking through a building? I think it's just fun. I think the sound in Hellboy is probably the funnest, and therefore I think it's the best. All absolutely amazingly competent in regards to how it was mixed, how it was pushed through, and to Del Toro's credit, the guns in his movies, they sound real. And when it comes to like movies that are going to have, at least in the examples that we have, there's firearms and that kind of thing. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I use that as a big barometer when it comes to judging films. At least when they're playing with like action and that kind of thing. If all the guns sound different, if all of them sound interesting, it's something to fall back on. But again, I've talked about in other things that we've had as a point of example, Hellboy, you have so many things that can make so many cool sounds. I think that it was handled was very well, so that's why I think it's also the best.
Did you also consider with Shape of Water the use of silence?
Yeah.
Yes, that's very true.
Right.
I'm glad you talked about that
because that was such a strong
so
point
good.
of what that whole
that was
story
so
was.
good.
That's absolutely right.
Well, it was like in the trailer, right? Like the creature. I can't even talk. The creature sees her for what she is, despite what she's lacking. Mm-hmm. The main character.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
She's a mute, but the way in which she talks is so beautiful in the entire film. I absolutely agree with you.
That's where I would disagree as far as like, you might have more to play with, but again, it's a genre-based thing.
I feel you.
As far as like, okay, yeah, you have the gates of hell.
Yeah.
Well, of course
you have a war movie and you have a love story.
Exactly.
So they're all kind of
so they're all kind of different. And it's interesting because I just said, well, he's going to make the kind of movies that he makes, but they are different. one is a love story. One
I feel you. But there's continuity between all of them. To your point,
they really do. They're all from the same universe.
Right. Exactly.
But
I would say that Andrews is right when it comes, in my opinion, with the audio, that again, it's the culmination. He now knows, well, I don't have to have an explosion.
You're right.
And I made a bigger sound by doing nothing.
And that's something we touched on our last Oscar show, where we were talking about the nominees then. All of them made a really good use of knowing when to shut up.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Well, guys, I really do appreciate the time that you're taking to listen to us prattle on and argue and fight. If you have,
he's always wrong.
Come together.
If you have
right now.
If you had took a minute and enjoyed the show, we do appreciate it. But if not, that's cool too. But either way, I mean, Bert, what do we always say?
You gotta remember that we may not know what we're talking about, but it's your job to tell us.
That's right, everybody. If you feel like giving us an email, feel free. pullfocuspod@gmail.com. Go ahead and write us some comments in the YouTube channel. Go ahead and write us some comments on SoundCloud.
Call me an asshole. That's fine.
That's fine. Completely fine. I'm definitely going to agree with you. But take some time to let us know how we're doing. Like and subscribe on YouTube, follow us on SoundCloud, and give us a chance to, get better at this. All 6 of you. And we'll do what we can.
Love you.
We do love you. And we'll do we'll do everything we can to try like Del Toro to learn from what we have done before and just become better at this.
Just go watch movies.
Yeah, go watch movies. Watch these 3 films. Like we mentioned before, if you want to get to know this guy, this director, this style, these 3 movies are great examples. But anyway, I need to take a moment and say thank you to my brothers in crime. Bert, thank you so very much for shouting at me. I don't always agree with you, but I appreciate your opinion. Wow. And Andres, thank you so very much for coming in and telling me what you think. Always appreciated. Everybody, thanks a lot. Good night. We love you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.